Hey guys, what's up? Jason's here. Today, we'll be talking about how to set up a firewall with Yeastar S-Series VoIP PBX. The system security is one of the issues we care about most while using VoIP because the existing VoIP attack from the internet may threat security and stability of the system. For example, hackers may try to hack our telephone system, stealing the trunk information or extension account information so that they will make calls via our trunks. Toll fraud is a big threat to our telephone system. To protect the PBX against the potential attack, the built-in firewall function in S-Series PBX plays a significant role to make the system safe and sound. With Firewall, we can add trusted IP addresses and drop the rest, leaving no chance for malicious hosts. Okay, here we go. Let's see how to make it work. Before we start everything, just hold on a second. Don't forget to take a backup of our settings, so that if the device happens to be locked, we can reset the system to factory settings and restore all previous configurations. Anyway, just back up. The basic logic to configure a firewall is to allow our trusted IP addresses first, then enable drop all. Generally speaking, we need to add common rules to accept the local network access and the remote access request for extensions or devices. VoIP provider and drop other IP addresses that haven't been added to the accepted list. Also, rules for NTP, SMTP, and POP are necessary. If we want to have our own PBX time synchronized with certain NTP server, to receive and to send emails, or to configure short messages to email to short messages, first, enable the firewall function. Check Enable Firewall and click Save. As for Disable Ping, enable this item. Net ping from all hosts will be dropped. Be careful about the item Drop All. Once it has been enabled, the system will drop all packets and connections from all hosts if there's no rule defined. To avoid locking the device, at least one TCP accept common rule must be created. For example, 8020 used for SSH access, port 82 and 8084 used for HTTP access. As we can see, there have been some rules in the list. If we have assigned an extension number to IP phones which have registered to our PBX by auto-provisioning, firewall rules will be created automatically to allow this access to the PBX. Then, let's go add common rules one by one. The first one is created for local network access. Say the IP range is from 192.168.6.1 to 192.168.6.254. Name the rule to help us identify it, of course. In description, enter detailed descriptions for this rule. In action, there are three options: reject, accept, and ignore. This rule is set to allow local access, so we choose accept. Both protocols, UDP and TCP, need to be selected. Enter the IP range here. The range stands for IP from 192.168.6.1 to 192.168.6.254. If we only need to choose one device, we can enter either its MAC address or fixed IP. However, since it works in the local network, there are a number of devices, so with filling IP range here, domain name applies to the case that there's a dynamic IP address with the domain name. Then, the last step, allow all ports from port 1 to 65,535. Tips: the ending port should be equal to or greater than the starting port. Now, we've created the first rule for local devices access. and another one for remote administrators, extensions, or other devices. Say this is for a remote extension with a public static IP address 110.85.25.69. Name this route, describe it in detail, choose Accept in both protocols. Enter the public IP address in this way. And allow all ports for it. If a branch office is configured with a dynamic IP address that doesn't belong to a specific range, but is bound with the domain name, we can also add a rule for it. Choose domain name and put in the domain name. For example, www.yeastar.com. Well, it's actually recommended to get a public static IP address for security purpose. What's more, if we add a domain in firewall rules, we also need to add an accept rule for the DNS IP of the DNS provider. For instance, Google's DNS IP is 8.8.8.8. We can add an accept rule for it. So much for remote places. Next, add common rules to accept the public static IP range of VoIP provider. By default, the ports used to contact the SIP provider is 5060 and 10,000 to 12,000. If the default ports have been customized, then set firewall rules for those changed ports. Here we take the default port as an example. Two rules are necessary, one for SIP 5060, the other one for RTP 10,000 to 12,000. Say the public static IP address of SIP provider is 110.111.132.6. This is for UDP 5060. And one more for RTP 10,000 to 12,000. If the SIP provider has a dynamic IP, just choose the domain name instead. After that, we're going to block web connection of the other IP addresses that haven't been added to the accepted list. Because many attacks are caused by web access, it's highly recommended to reject untrusted web accessing. Choose Reject in both protocols. Enter IP in this way. It stands for all range. Since accept action has priority over reject, all IP addresses except those trusted IP will be denied by the system. The port for web connection in our example is 8084. Enter 8084 here. That's all. Basically, we need to create this accept and reject rules if NTP, SMTP, and POP server are necessary. More accept rules can be added. If drop all is enabled, IP auto defense won't work. The server would add IP address to the blacklist automatically if packets from the IP outnumber the rule configured here. By 3 default rules have been created automatically. It is recommended to keep the default rules rather than modifying the value. We can also add more if necessary. Alright, that was how we set firewall in Yeastar S-Series VoIP PBX. Thank you so much for watching. Hit the like button if you like this video, subscribe to the channel if you aren't already, and follow us on Facebook and Twitter for more Yeastar updates. Stay tuned.